Hello, this is Wazo X Wazo again, and it's time for another evening chat. You can hear some cars outside. I think it's still the rush hour. I'm starting this a bit early tonight, and I might get interrupted when Ganpat walks through the door. I think he's coming over to have a cocktail with me later, but that's besides the point. So tonight I would like to talk about the way curations are approached. It's another thing that bothers me, and I'm drifting away from politics a little bit more now, and I'm talking more about how the art world seems to be working in a rather dysfunctional way. And that is that curators, I've noticed more and more, they will develop a theme, it seems, for an exhibition. And then once they develop that theme, they put out a call to artists that they like, artists that they're interested in, maybe artists that they think would fit the theme well. And they say something like, I'm putting together a show on transgenderism. I'm putting together a show on the Anthropocene. I'm putting together a show on casteism, whatever it might be. Can you contribute to that? Can you make a work that relates to that issue? Now, it's that final stage that I mentioned. Can you make a work that I have the most problems with? It bothers me. I feel that approach distracts artists from a natural path of development because, of course, we all want to be in exhibitions. If it's a good curator, if it's a prestigious venue, you're going to want to participate on some level, okay? So if you get a email from a curator saying that I'm doing a work on transgenderism, even if that's not even remotely related to what you are working on or what you're currently concerned with, you will be very tempted to say, oh yeah, we could do that, I could do that. Sure, transgenderism, let's see, how am I going to approach that? What am I going to give you? And then the curator might even give you suggestions and say, well, you could do this, you could do that. Oh, you're so good at this and this, why don't you try it this way? I've been in situations where curators almost are guiding you like they are commissioning a work of art, not just asking you to develop something on a theme, but actually giving you such detailed instructions, it becomes almost like they're telling you what they want you to make for the show. I find that really problematic, to use a word I don't like, but it's become such a natural word these days. I find it very problematic. I feel it distracts artists from a natural development and a natural progression in their own work. And then to expand that a little bit more, I feel that, and I'm asking the impossible maybe, and I'm sure if any curators listen to this, they will take issue probably. I feel that a curatorial responsibility, a large part of it, is being aware of what artists within your community, the art community, what are they doing? What are their own concerns? What have they been working on? What trajectories are they taking with their own art? And then the curator's job is to pull in those various artists and try to make a cohesive exhibition out of it that tells a story. Tells a story is a simple way of putting it, but I think you understand what I mean. Develops a theme and explores what they are doing. That is ideally what would be done, and I don't see that is happening to the extent that it should. Now, it does happen. There are curators who try to do exactly that, and they deserve credit for what they do. But I'll give an example right now, and this is kind of a horse that I beat a lot. People who know, who've talked to me about these issues, and I'll probably get a lot of comments negative for what I say right now. But personally, I feel that over the past 2 decades, a lot of incredible Indian art has come out of the Indian state of Kerala. And I say that as somebody who has no investment in Kerala whatsoever. I don't live there. I have bought a couple works of art by Kerala artists, but I think only two Kerala artists are in, or yeah, I think two Kerala artists are in my collection total. And they're simple drawings and one lino cut. I based in Rajasthan, so I'm not a Kerala booster by any means. I'm trying to make claim to my neutrality now, is what I'm saying. But when I look at Kerala, I see that it is the one state region in India that has had a very specific and a very noticeable and recognizable school of development over the past 2 decades. And what I see there is a great interest in nature, in ecology, in the environment, in the way humans have shaped the environment, in the way humans relate to the environment, in rural versus city themes, more or less. A lot of ecology. There's a lot of ecology in Kerala art, and a lot of how nature and humans interact. And many times this is done in a very surrealist style. Surrealist is probably the wrong word, but magical realism might be a better word for it. To me, a curator on their toes, and I'm always amazed more Indian curators have not taken this up, would be down in Kerala and pursuing what to me seems like a very recognizable movement. If I had to say there was one movement in India the past 2 decades, it would be from Kerala, probably coming out of the Fine Arts College in Trivandrum. And that's fair. I mean, we all know that Bengal had its moment in Indian history. We all know that Delhi had its moment in Indian history. We all know that Baroda certainly had its moment in Indian history. Kerala seems to be the magic spot of the moment, or at least the past 2 decades it was the magic spot, and yet it has not been documented in any way, shape, or form the way it should be documented. So you have this lack of attention going to something that I think really needs attention, but then at the same time you will have curators putting out calls to artists and saying, I'm curating a show on the Anthropocene, or I'm curating a show on the ecology. And of course, I mean, it'll be worded a little more complexly than that. And well, we're looking for artists to like fit this theme, or worse, can you do something that relates to this theme? And I just wonder, why is that happening rather than you opening your eyes to something that is pretty much under your nose if you take the time to look and to do your research? I see these things as a problem, and I should probably get off the Kerala kick for a while, because I know a lot of people don't like that. If they're not Kerala, they say, well, why are Kerala artists getting more attention than other Indian artists? Which sometimes they seem to, because Kerala artists can be quite, like Malayalis in general, can be quite boastful or rather egotistical in the way they see themselves. But then in other ways, I think they have good right to be, because they've done some amazing things. But getting back to the curators, and I should probably end this for tonight, I wish more curators took the time to go out and do the research before they took the time to develop a theme. I think so many times the themes, and many times political themes again, fashionably political themes, are being developed and promoted before the research is really done as to what is the artist community really doing? What are artists really interested in the given moment? Because we all are individuals. We're all pursuing our own interests and our own career trajectories in one way or another. And I think that kind of research needs to be done first and foremost before trying to develop a theme and then ask artists to produce works for that theme. And I think I should probably end it there. I'm sure I've said enough, and maybe there'll be some comments. This is rather unprepared tonight and very informal, but it's something that, once again, I think needs to be said, and maybe other people will have some comments. Once again, please like my video and please subscribe if you want to hear more of these, and I will be continuing my talks. Thank you for joining me. Bye. Oh, goodbye from the evil Orientalist from Udaipur in Rajasthan.